Hey all, here at osandvideoexperts.com. Today we're taking a video review of the Higher America Ibiza Rhapsody. This is an MP3 device that was released by Higher America a few years ago. It still remains a pretty relevant device that is slightly, in my opinion, is the underdog of the MP3 industry. And it has a lot of features in here that are pretty impressive, and quite frankly, you don't see them in MP3 players that often. The Ibiza Rhapsody comes in various different colors. For some reason, we could only get our hands on a pink version, but it also comes in blue, in white, and in black, so it's a great spectrum of colors. If you're thinking, well, this looks like an iPod Classic on first look, then you're exactly correct. In terms of dimensions, it's pretty much exactly the same as an iPod Classic, a hard drive based MP3 player from Apple. But if you're thinking that it's just a clone of that device, then you're wrong, because it's pretty much like an iPod Touch with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, all those different features, except it's in the body of an iPod Classic and in the price point of an iPod Classic. With that said, it's still a very expensive device, and it doesn't feel exactly as good as an iPod Classic or an Apple-based device, but we'll take a look at those different features in a moment. Take a look at the design and what you get in the box first. So first up, you get a lot of accessories in the box. These devices come in 4 gigs, 8 gigs, and 30 gig components, and the 4 gig model starts at $169, which is very expensive, and they can get more than $200, $300, so it's very expensive again for these devices. They are pretty much on par with Apple's price tag. Luckily, now we're a few years into the device's a release, and it's been discontinued slowly from different avenues like on eBay and stuff like that. You can find this for under $100 now, which is pretty impressive. In terms of packaging, again, you get a lot of stuff. Higher America actually packages with a silicone case that fits really nicely, and I would really recommend people to use this because it makes the device actually feel a lot better. This device is really lightweight, and it's actually a very plasticky, except for some metal components. And as a result, putting it on the soft touch material actually increases the sense and also the feel of the device, which is something to be noted of. Again, it's customized to include all the ports very nicely, so it's a great case as well. They come in different colors. Inside the box itself, you have access to a Higher America cable. To charge the device, it basically just uses a standard, there we go, a mini USB 2.0 port. You also have a wall adapter included that goes from the USB to that port. And other stuff include a built-in pair of headphones that are actually pretty decent sounding and pretty decent in quality. Yeah, this is of course called Ibiza Rhapsody, so you have Rhapsody support in this device directly from the product, which allows you to download Rhapsody content with the device, since it has Wi-Fi, it has other wireless options on here, kind of like an iPod Touch. So it's in component and in partnership with Rhapsody. And there's a CD for you to download, and you can see that I have the 4 gig model right now, but they are pretty much identical, except for the 30 gig model, which has an addition of Bluetooth. You also have audible.com, some flyers. Let's take a look at what we have here. So other than your CD and some guides, you have your quick start guide for a device. This is the silver version right now. You have your model serial number, your contents. The device, again, comes with all this stuff, and then how to turn it on, to turn on the wireless, to tap which buttons. The front of the device is also a touchpad. So it's like a TI Inspire graphing calculator. It's a touchpad where you can navigate the web, you can download stuff, listen to videos and pictures using that touchpad. It's very cool. There's some buttons on here, there's your interface, and again, there's some pictures that have full color in them, so it's a color-based text manual, which is pretty impressive. Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, that's pretty much it. And over here we have a Ibiza Rhapsody flyer with 1,000,000 songs out of thin air, as it says. There's your warrant and important safety information. This would be something that's going to be really cool for traveling with. If you're someone who flies a lot on planes and you go to airports, and if you go in your car, this has a lot of wireless options to connect to different hotspots and download videos and music content. So very impressive. There's also some downloadable content. Let's just get rid of this and go into the device. The hardware of the device itself, again, looks like an iPod Classic in terms of dimensions. The screen size is actually exactly the same. Now, unfortunately, the screen isn't as good in terms of angling. It's still very bright and responsive and vibrant, but if you start playing around with the angles in the direct sunlight, you can lose a lot of the picture quality. And it's unfortunate, but that's something that's pretty consistent with media devices in this day and age. The LCDs aren't that great unless you get into those AMOLED screens and above. So below the screen itself, you have access to that touchpad I was talking about. Very sensitive, it's capacitive, so it's going to use your finger flush. You have your tactile buttons, which are backlit and easy to press. They include the back, skip tracks, and a play pause button. So other components that I want to take a look at include on top, you have your wireless control. Pressing this actually takes you to the wireless manager, and you can select to turn on wireless or turn off wireless, and then connect to different hotspots and various other wireless features. You can go back to the menu system. And also you have a lock switch to lock the device, the touchpad and the buttons. There's your 3.5mm headphone jack. And on the right-hand side, you have access to a fully based volume rocker. This is a great feature on this device. It really makes this product come alive because it's a distinguishable feature that's welcome. We've always loved tactile volume controls. And also a on-off button that's recessed so you won't accidentally press it. On the bottom device, you have the mini USB for charging and syncing information with your computer. There's also a proprietary dock connection for future updates and accessories and docks, and Ibiza has released a few of those. You can check them out online. So again, a very slim profile overall. It feels really nice in the hand. It's just a little bit more lightweight and a little bit more plasticky than what you might expect. Taking a look at the interface itself, you'll see that it's very neat. It's also very much finished. It feels like something that's been prepared and it's been dedicated through. It actually runs on a version of Linux operating system. And that's what allows you to browse the web with a built-in web browser on here, and also watch and download AOL web videos from using a Wi-Fi hotspot and the such. So it's a nice interface overall. You can see that the screen includes a few things on the top. You have a music, and you can see how some of these icons are also moving, and it's a very nice touch overall to this product. You have music, you have your videos, your photos, your Rhapsody. Again, it's very easy to select with a touchpad. Your podcasts, your FM radio, FM extras, which includes future updates and stuff like that. And again, I was talking about how nice the interface in the background was. And this is actually something that's called Air Skins. This is something that Ibiza has rolled out. And you can select between different skins for the entire device to be customized in different seasons, different days, and different hours. You can always download more. And these Air Skins are free. So you can just use Wi-Fi, and then you are able to download more of these skins. Here's the original one, which is blue and gray. And there you go. It has a different look to it. It's a little more professional. But again, it's easy to use. If you don't want to use a touchpad, you want to adjust its sensitivity, you can also select that in the different menu systems. So pressing down on the touchpad will also allow you to go into the different menus. For example, music, you can see albums and songs. It displays cover art. And battery life on this device, though, is one of the biggest disappointments. If for anything, the only thing that I haven't been, a huge fan of this device is definitely its battery life. It runs out of battery quite fast, especially if you use wireless, and that's a disappointment again, considering you have so many features that would have been so good if you have good battery life. But I guess you have to have some downfalls for a device to actually be existent. So again, you can actually search through your different music by this search bar on the top, and you can actually use this to search through different letters, kind of like on your iPod, and then search through different artists, or you can view the entire list, and you can go down and scroll down of the such, and then start listening to music. And you can see those are your cover art exist if you have those. So yeah. You can play your songs, and again, the sound quality on this device is very impressive. It's got a great audio set, especially if you have a good headset on here, then it's going to work really well. The connection port is really tight. And again, the 4GB and 8GB models don't have Bluetooth built in, but this 30GB model does. And all of these models have Wi-Fi for web browsing and, again, Rhapsody wireless downloading, so you can play music while you access other features. Now, below the entire interface, you have a menu bar that displays your different information, such as your battery life, your current title, and also you have your wireless information. A red bar right now indicates that I've turned wireless off because I'm on a plane or something like that, and you can also check that out. There's also a time on the bottom that shows you the current time wherever you are. So in terms of videos, video playback is okay, but what's the biggest feature on here again is that Wi-Fi support, so I can watch stuff from like AOL and perhaps in the future even stuff from YouTube because I have Wi-Fi and wireless on this device. The actual playback quality is actually quite good because the screen is quite good. But if you're planning to use a lot of videos from your computer onto the device, it's a little bit disappointing because it doesn't support MP4 audio. You have to actually convert the audio files into a different file submission in order for this to work, which is unfortunate. But you can see from a few demos that that they work pretty well overall. It's also pretty nice that Ibiza has actually included all the tutorials into this device natively. You can also delete those if you want to, but it shows you how to use every single feature using a very cool video. For example, using a web browser. If I'm going to press on that, it's going to play that video. It's going to say internet browser, and there's going to be sound, but since there's no built-in speaker, it's not going to play anything right now. But again, it shows you how to get to that screen and then get to that video and start browsing and getting connected. So overall, it's a pretty good video experience. Just wish it supported more file formats. There's also photos on here, which again, you can display your photos, your uncategorized photos. Let me select a few. And you can see that the viewing experience on this is pretty good as well. Some of these photos aren't going to expand to the full view because it's just in their native resolution. It's going to be how they're going to be displayed. So it's another thing. This doesn't expand the photos, no matter what the resolution is. It's just very set in stone. But overall, it's a nice photo experience as well. Very responsive. Again, the processor is really fast. There's your Rhapsody support, so you can basically start and connect to a Wi-Fi hotspot and start your Rhapsody support on here. It's basically what you get on your Rhapsody on your PC or Mac. You can do the same thing with this device. You get your Rhapsody songs during the air. You can download new stuff and find new content with their service, and you can also get when you purchase the device, you get a little bit of a free service trial with Rhapsody first before you get charged with the service. So that's pretty cool as well. But in case you don't want to use Rhapsody, again, you can download your own music with your PC and then put it onto this device. There's some Rhapsody channels. Podcasts, pretty self-explanatory. You also have an FM radio, which you need the antenna, which is the headphones. You also have some extras. Let's take a look at that. There's some air scans and disk space. You can see what's using your memory currently. And actually, I kind of lied when I said there wasn't a speaker on here. There isn't a speaker for sound and video, but if you listen really closely for the clicking sounds, like when I'm going through the different menus, I'm clicking up and down, there's a speaker for the clicker. This is really the same thing that's on the iPod Classic and on the iPod Nano, the older models. You can click through them. There's a click speaker, but there isn't a full video, a few music speaker, if you may. It's also a pretty unique feature. So right now I'm just going to take you through the web browsing experience really fast and show you how that works. Again, I'm going to press this to bring up this. I'm going to turn on wireless, and now, one of the downsides of using this as your web-based device is that in order to access, to different passwords and different website codes, you have to slide through with a touchpad and go left and right to cycle through the different alphabet letters and then select them. It's a little bit tedious and long, especially if you're planning to use something for a long period of time. But for basic web browsing, I still think that it fits the bill, and it's a pretty nice experience overall. You can see your signal strength also down below there. Basic web browsing, maybe on New York Times, maybe on Google, it works fairly well. And again, the touchpad is pretty easy to use. So let's go to extras, where you'll find, the internet browser. And if I press that, it has a list of all your recent history and also a list of your favorites. It basically tabs everything you've been to onto this list. You can also remove it in the settings, but so it's going to be easier for you to access them again, considering the keyboard isn't that good. Again, there's Google, there's Yahoo OneSearch, MSN, Wikipedia, IMDb, there's Fandango, NewYorkTimes.com. There's all these different stuff. If I just want to go to Google.com, I'm going to press Google. It's going to connect to the internet. Take a little bit while. Again, it's not the fastest thing out there, but it works. And the browser that it uses is actually a slightly different version of kind of looks like Opera. It's a little bit interesting. It looks like Opera, but it's customized, and for Linux, it's a slightly different version of that content, which is again pretty interesting to take a look at. Let's wait for it to connect and for it to load. Maybe restricted on this network. Yes, let me choose no. Keep using it. That's what I have to choose. I pressed the wrong thing, apparently. And there you go. It's called Minimo. That's the name of the browser. And there you go. Once you're connected to Wi-Fi, the whole antenna on the top will turn green. If you're not connected to any wireless connection but Wi-Fi is still turned on, it will turn red. And if you're not turned on at all, it will cease to exist, the light. And there you go. The browser is currently loading. And you'll see it's loading, I believe. You just need to wait for it to fully load. Let's go back and actually relaunch that page again, if we can. Let's wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Any other features of this device? Overall, my general impressions of this device is that it's a pretty good device. It's very nicely done. I'm going to be excited to see as updates going to roll out. It might even get faster and smoother, but overall, the experience is pretty good. Does it really justify the expensive price tag, especially among lines of Zunes and again, among Android-based media devices and iPods? I don't really think so. But in this day and age, you can get this for a lot cheaper, again, under $100. And for that price, you're getting, again, pretty much a iPod Classic meets an iPod Touch experience. So if you're into that kind of thing, I think this might be a good package, especially if you're considering something like Rhapsody service. This is really dedicated to that Rhapsody experience. So I don't know what's going on, but you can see I'm connected right now. Taking longer than usual to load. We'll get back to you, I guess.